What this law will do, that is sponsored by myself in the Senate and by Assemblyman Gandolfo in the Assembly, is common sense. It says that if you're arrested in the state of New York and you're an illegal alien, that the police must send your fingerprints to ICE. They must forward those arrest documents. It says that if you're convicted of a crime here in New York, in a court of law, and you're an illegal alien, that the court must work with ICE to begin and initiate deportation proceedings. The fact that we need this law proves the sad state of affairs here in New York State. Think about this. You cross our border illegally. You make your way to New York. New York citizens, through warped elected officials, give you free food, free clothing, free shelter, gift cards, televisions, whatever you want, and then you decide to thank New Yorkers by breaking the law, by committing a crime, by trying to kill, murder a police officer in the city of New York. Because when you try to drop kick someone in their head, that's attempted murder. That's how you thank New Yorkers? And then New York Democrats say, well, it wouldn't be compassionate to punish them. I'm sick of hearing this line from Democrats in New York. They're trying to use our decency, the good nature of New Yorkers, against them to say, well, it's compassion to tell New Yorkers who can't afford to make ends meet themselves to pony up and pay for things they can't afford for people who are here illegally. That's not compassionate. That's warped. Think about how we got here. Leader Ort, Leader Barkley mentioned it. This is the result not of mishap or chance, but by direct actions of President Biden, who, as clueless as he seems lately, no one could be this incompetent. This is a plan. When he came into office, he intentionally, not accidentally, put a pen in his hand and with 93 or so executive orders, opened our border. And then Governor Hochul in the state of New York said to the world, come to New York. They quoted some huddled masses and some other things on the Statue of Liberty as if they were compassionate and they were good-natured. They're not. They're trying to undo America. They're putting people from around the world above the citizens that they have sworn to serve. On Staten Island, and in New York City, I've witnessed it firsthand with my colleagues, Assemblyman Riley and Tanusis. We've stood outside a former senior living home where a group by the name of Home for the Homeless, one of these Bolshevik non-for-profits, kicked seniors, citizens, veterans out of their apartments to make way for illegal migrants. And we've been there, and we've rallied against it because it's wrong, as we've watched the Amazon truck deliver goods and services to these folks. As we've watched, as a former prosecutor, I could tell you, we've watched evidence of human trafficking. We've seen migrants driving cars that have fake license plates. We've seen burglaries. We've seen robberies. And when we talk to the great police, the greatest police force in America, the NYPD, friends of ours, they say we can't do anything about it. We're being told from above we can't. And they're also being told, and I've witnessed a woman on Staten Island being arrested for playing God Bless America in her car across the street from the migrant shelter. That happened. I watched a woman arrested on Staten Island because she was trying to get to her car, to get to her 4 children, because it was parked behind a police barricade that was protecting the migrant shelter and not the people. She was arrested. This is warped, and it's upside down. And this policy in New York, as Leader Ort and Leader Barkley mentioned, is just, it's hard to believe. We live in a state where the governor, where mayors, where the Democratic Party has said, and has bragged about, pun intended, has bragged about the fact that, you know, if you come to New York illegally, don't worry about it. We're not going to cooperate with the federal law enforcement agencies. Could you imagine this? The governor of the state of New York, the mayor of the city of New York, elected officials from the Democratic Party all across New York have said, don't worry, we won't cooperate with law enforcement. You know where we come from as Republicans? That's corruption. Plain and simple, that's corrupt. As a former Manhattan prosecutor, I'll tell you what else it is. It's harboring criminals. And so now all of a sudden, as Leader Ort mentioned, I saw the governor getting on a plane or a helicopter or whatever, some electric helicopter, and turned to the camera and said, yeah, maybe we should deport them. You know, that's a move in the right direction. As Leader Ort said, we're gonna accept it. And that's why we're putting in laws like this. Maybe she could put her pen where her words are. Maybe she'll adopt this law. Maybe she'll convince her colleagues in the Democratic Party to do this and the other things that the Republicans are pushing. Maybe she regrets, you know, a year or so ago, signing off on airplanes coming to Westchester and other parts of New York in the dead of night, bringing illegal migrants here to New York and then acting surprised. People are on to her. The people are on to the President of the United States. They're on to these Democratic policies who have threatened the lives of good, tax-paying, law-abiding New Yorkers and Americans. Why is the governor now all of a sudden changing her tune? You know why? Because it's not because she didn't think this was going to happen. You can't be that dumb when you roll out the red carpet where you protect migrants and not citizens. What do you think migrants, as Leader Ort said, they're not dumb. You know what they say? Wow, we're above the law in New York. That's the only thing that can explain that when you try to murder a New York City police officer and when you're caught, you flip the bird to the rest of us. What kind of person would do that? Bad upbringing, bad parenting, yes, but also when you're in a state where you have a governor that says, hey, you're the victim, and I'm going to put your rights above the rights of New York citizens. It's disgusting and it's warped. It's got to change now. We need common sense. We need public safety. You come to New York illegally, you break the law, you got to go. And that's what this law says.